Buddha and the Farmer's Bad Luck. Once upon a time, in the serene village of Rajapur, nestled beneath the shadow of a vast mountain, lived a humble farmer named Dhanu. He was known for his diligence and honesty, but also for his endless complaints about his bad luck. No matter what befell him, he believed that misfortune haunted his every step. One day, Danu's only ox broke its leg while ploughing the field. He exclaimed to his neighbors, "This is such bad luck. How will I till my land now? My family will starve." The villagers sympathized, shaking their heads at his plight. Soon after, a wandering monk passed through Rajapur and heard of Danu's predicament. Curious about the farmer's complaints, the monk told him, "Why don't you seek the wisdom of the Buddha himself? He resides not far from here in the monastery at Jetavana. Perhaps he can help you understand your bad luck." Danu was reluctant. Why would the Buddha care about a poor farmer like me? My troubles are too trivial for him. The monk smiled and said, "The Buddha's compassion is boundless, and he teaches that wisdom is the cure for all suffering. Go to him, and you may find answers that will change your perspective." With no ox and no work to occupy him, Danu decided to make the journey to Jetavana. The journey begins. The road to Jetavana was long and arduous. On the second day, a storm struck, drenching Danu and ruining the small bundle of food he had carried. "This is my luck," he muttered bitterly. "Even the heavens conspire against me." As he trudged along, he encountered a merchant whose cart was stuck in the mud. The merchant called out, "Friend, can you help me?" "I have been stuck here for hours." Danu hesitated. He was tired, hungry, and in no mood to help anyone. But then he thought of the Buddha and decided that performing a kind act might bring him some merit. He helped push the cart free, and the merchant, grateful, handed him a sack of rice as a reward. Perhaps this isn't bad luck after all, Danu thought, feeling a glimmer of hope. Arriving at Jetavana. After a week of travel, Danu reached the Hetavana monastery. The sight of the serene gardens and meditating monks filled him with awe. He approached the Buddha, who was seated beneath a Bodhi tree, radiating calm and compassion. Danu bowed deeply and said, "Great teacher, I have come seeking answers. My life is plagued by bad luck. No matter what I do, misfortune follows me. Why is this happening?" The Buddha gazed at him with gentle eyes and replied, "Tell me, Danu, what is this bad luck you speak of? Share your story." Danu recounted his struggles, the broken ox, the ruined crops, the storm, and all the small grievances of his life. The Buddha listened patiently and then said, "Danu, before we speak of luck, let us examine the nature of suffering. Do you believe your suffering arises from external events alone?" "Yes," Danu replied. "How else could it be? The world is harsh, and I am its victim." The Buddha smiled. "Let me tell you a story. The story of the king and the monk. Once, there was a powerful king who was plagued by nightmares. Every night he dreamed of losing his kingdom, his wealth, and his family. He believed these dreams were omens of bad luck. Desperate for peace, he summoned a wise monk. The monk said, "Your dreams are not signs of bad luck, but reflections of your attachment. You fear loss because you cling to what you possess. Release your attachment, and the nightmares will cease." The king, unwilling to part with his luxuries, dismissed the monk. His nightmares grew worse until he finally realized that true peace could not be bought or fought for. It had to come from within. When he renounced his greed and fear, his nightmares vanished. The Buddha's lesson. The Buddha looked at Dhanu and said, "Do you see, Dhanu? What you call bad luck is often your resistance to life's natural flow. When you attach yourself to outcomes and cling to what you believe you must have, you create suffering." "But my ox broke its leg," Dhanu argued. "Surely that was bad luck." "Perhaps," the Buddha replied. "Or perhaps it was the nature of impermanence. Nothing lasts forever. Not your ox, not your hardships. Tell me, did anything good come from that event?" Danu thought about the sack of rice he had received for helping the merchant. "Yes, but it was small compared to my loss." The Buddha smiled. Even a small blessing can be the seed of great wisdom. If you focus only on what you lose, you miss what you gain. The illusion of luck. The Buddha continued. Let me tell you another story. Once a man's horse ran away. His neighbors said, "What bad luck." But the man replied, "Maybe." The next day the horse returned with a he broke his leg. The neighbors said, "What bad luck?" The man replied, "Maybe." Soon after, the army came to recruit young men for war, but left the son behind because of his injury. The neighbors said, "What good luck?" The man again said, "Maybe." Do you see, Dhanu? What we label as luck, good or bad, is often just life unfolding. Wisdom lies in accepting events without clinging to judgments. A change in perspective. Dhanu stayed at the monastery for several days, listening to the Buddha's teachings. He learned about the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. Slowly, he began to understand that his suffering stemmed not from external misfortunes, but from his attachment to how life should be. When he returned to his village, Danu found that the broken ox had healed. Though it was weaker, he used it carefully, and with the sack of rice, he fed his family through the season. Over time, Danu's outlook changed. When a storm destroyed part of his crop, he said, "This too shall pass." When a neighbor offered to share his harvest, Danu gratefully accepted, seeing it as a blessing rather than pity. The villagers noticed the transformation. Danu, once known for his complaints, became known for his wisdom and calm. Conclusion. Years later, when Danu's life came to an end, the villagers remembered him as a man who had turned his bad luck into a source of strength and understanding. The Buddha's teachings had shown him that luck, whether good or bad, is merely the surface of life's ever changing river. True peace comes not from resisting the current, but from flowing with it, accepting each moment as it comes. And so the story of Danu and his journey to the Buddha became a cherished tale in Rajapur, a reminder that wisdom, not luck, is the key to a fulfilled life.